Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today we are here to talk about the brand new release from Makeup by Mario. This is the Makeup by Mario SurrealSkin Awakening Concealer. We are going to talk about it, try it on, and do a wear test for as long as I can today. You are seeing it on me now, but it is very freshly applied. The wear test will be after the demo, and I will try to put some timestamps here at the bottom, so if you are looking for specific information, you can get to it quicker, as we do have a lot to say. Now, it's the 8th month already, so we're over halfway through the year, and I continually tried all year to say this is the year of the blush, this is the year of, and I could easily say it's the year of the concealer, but that seems a bit Monday morning quarterbacking, as we Americans say now, because it's been quite a few months, but we have had so many concealers come out. And every time I want to do a concealer recap video, more come out. We have to look at this SurrealSkin Awakening Concealer from Makeup by Mario today. And of course, you know that Tower 28 just released one, and House Labs is about to release one, the Lady Gaga brand, and goodness knows who else, I'm sure. We have had a lot of them, and a lot of them have been very, very good. I will be putting this concealer today on what I like to call my concealer spectrum. This is something trademark that I came up with a few years ago when I worked solely in print journalism for fashion and beauty. That is my background. I found that people tend to like concealers based on other concealers. If you like a big, thick, chunky concealer, you're probably not going to like one with a little bit thinner, watery consistency. If you like a medium, you might not like one, the other. So I like to put these on a spectrum to let you know where it falls. I had heard and been warned that this was an extraordinarily thick concealer, so I was very nervous about this video. Let me just do spoiler alert, it is not. It's not. So we're going to talk about this on the Makeup by Mario site. And on the Sephora site, which are the two sites currently selling it, of course, you can look up your Makeup by Mario SurrealSkin foundation shade, and it will recommend what shades of the concealer work for you. Rebecca here didn't realize that when I ordered mine, and mine are completely off, but I'm wearing it now. I still did okay. So if you did not refer to that chart, I think you're probably okay if you used your best judgment. So let me just tell you, I am a 6W and I'm not warm in anything ever, but I was matched in store with a 6W. I'm very neutral, sometimes even a little rosy. So this is a first. In this and the Charlotte Tilbury, I went warm. So this is a 6W matched in store. They told me on the chart that I didn't realize existed that I would be a 160 or 180. Well, silly me, I got 200 and 240, and they were fine. And that's way off the 160 and 180 recommended to me. I picked up 200 and 240 because I didn't know the other existed, so we're just going to go with it today. There are, however, 22 shades in total, and each shade is $29 each. This is a natural medium coverage. I will agree with that. This is supposed to lift, blur, and brighten even the darkest of under eye areas. Will it be a match for my dark pits of despair? Well, you will have to see. This could be used on the under eye to brighten. You can go one shade lighter, which I try to do, to brighten up under the eyes. It could be used on blemishes, just match your skin tone, dot it on there, let it sit for a little bit, and then just kind of tap it in. It could be used to highlight, actually. If you use the one shade under on the eye shade, you can highlight by drawing attention with a brighter spot on your face, but it won't necessarily look, it won't obviously be sparkly or anything like that, but you can also blur the skin by matching the skin and kind of blur away imperfections or fine lines. So really what you want to work with here is your natural, your match to your skin, or one lighter. And I do know people who have, 2 or 3 of you have gone a little bit peachier to try to also get a little color correcting action in there. There are no mistakes. It's just makeup. Okay, let's talk about this on the spectrum of concealer, and then we'll go to the demo and then the wear test. I tend to say that the very lightest, gentlest, thinnest formula concealer is the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric. It's true. Huda has come out with a glowish one, and the Valentino, they're much more liquidy. Those barely cover anything. People love them, but they are thinner than this. But let's just go with this. If you want any sort of coverage and you're not using it to cover up a green or an orange shade in a color corrector, let's say for now that the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric is our thinnest, most buildable, doesn't cake. You can use it just recklessly and not worry about that showing. That will be our lightest. We're going to put this on the spectrum here. Over into the thickest, I put the Pat McGrath concealer. I had heard this compared to that. No, this is super thick, the Pat McGrath concealer. You have to just use a dot. If you use too much or try to use it with abandon, in other words, if you're me, it will cake, it will be too thick. Some people love it. This stuff could even cover up like really a tattoo. It is extraordinarily thick. You know what else is like it? The KVD Good Apple Concealer is like it. The original Tarte Shape Tape is super, super thick. I can't do that super, super thick. So when I heard this was like it, I was like, ah. What's in the middle? You know, there's a new Tarte Shape Tape, the Radiant one, not creamy, Radiant, the newest. I know there's so many. That's right in the middle. I would say the Natasha Denona concealer is right smack dab in the middle. The new Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful concealer, that would be right there in the middle too. Guess what? Mario says that it is medium coverage, and I would agree. I would say this is about, the Mario is about the same consistency as the Charlotte, as the Natasha, as the new Shape Tape Radiant. A little bit thicker than maybe Dior, the Dior Forever, a little bit thicker. Look, I can't list all of them, but you're welcome to ask me below. Basically, it's a good smack dab medium. That means it's going to please a lot of people. I like the thinner side of concealers, and I'll tell you already, I really like this one so far. I haven't done the full wear test yet, but so far I do. I do not like going to the thicker side, but I think those that like the Pat McGrath, the original Shape Tape, I do think you'll like this. Let me show you on the 200 kind of what it looks like. We have a flexible doe foot, and when you put it on there, see, it's got a nice kind of thin, very flexible coverage. And if you need it compared to anything, if you're like, oh, what does the 200 look like next to the such and such shade by so-and-so? You know, I will, rather than doing 50 comparisons and having a 45-minute video, no shade, not that there's anything wrong with that. But for my preferences, and I think my audience's preferences, I won't drag it out. But if you have a specific request, I'm super in tune with my community here, happy to do shade comparisons and whatever you need over on Instagram. You can ask there, you can ask here. That way we won't draw it out too much. But it's just a really kind of movable, flexible concealer that so far, I haven't done the full wear test. We'll have to see when we come back for that. So far, I am enjoying it. It's fairly newly applied, maybe 45 minutes ago or so. Okay, again, 22 shades, $29. I didn't go with what the chart recommends, but I'm okay with it. All right, we're going to go to the demo right now, and then afterwards we'll go to the wear test, and you can kind of see what you think. Stay right there. Super excited to try this out. You've already heard the explanation of what shades I chose, but you know a little more than me because I filmed the part you just saw after this, so you know a little more than me how this worked out. All right, we are going to try this on a completely bare face, and this time I am going to try it on with the Makeup by Mario SurrealSkin Foundation. Normally, when I do any sort of a complexion video, I do not put on anything else with it, so that we don't interfere with the product. And this time I won't powder. But I am going to apply a light layer of this because most of you will use the two products together. This was an extremely popular foundation. So I will speed up the camera and put a little bit on of this in the shade 6W. I had a very strange shade choice, you know, and I had to do it in store. And the Sephora thing, you know, that they hold up against your head to get your correct shade, it wasn't, it was absolutely so far off, just like many of you who've used foundation finders and things like that will find. They're often very off, and even the lady in store went, oh, you know, it's not right. Okay, so I'm just putting a very light layer of this on, as you would, and I'll speed it up. Okay, this is in the shade 6W, as you know, looking a little light on me this summer, actually. It's been a while since I've dipped into this, but it will kind of hit the air and kind of settle in. Okay, so now we have that going. I did a very light layer. Now we'll put the concealer on. I like to do the concealer first, but let's be honest, we generally do concealer second. So I'm trying to mimic what you'll probably do at home. Okay, here is the shade 200, darker than what was recommended to me. And it says it can cover even the darkest of dark circles. I've heard this is thick, so I'm trying to be kind of conservative with the amount I choose. I did have one complaint about the theme music that goes when I show the darkest parts of my eyes, so I will make sure I play it low and I won't overuse it because I don't want to offend anyone. But as I like to show you guys, the inner parts of my eyes here I like to call my dark pits of despair with a quieter theme song. I don't want to frighten anybody. And I do also have redness around my nose and some redness here or there, covered a little bit by the light foundation. Let's do this shade 200, darker than they recommend, around my eyes. And this can go to cover around eyes. This could cover blemishes. When you put it on a blemish, it's best to let it sit. I'll let it all sit a little bit before I rub it in there. I've got a little bit of hyperpigmentation there that I will definitely let sit. And then it's best to let it sit here around the nose and such. And I will also add the 240 around the nose just to darken it just a bit. Okay, so let's add that there, and it gives me a little bit more coverage, but I won't do that underneath the eyes. I don't think that's the wrong shades. I can't believe it recommended the 160 and 180. I was like, oh, did I do this wrong? Okay, so let's just let that chill out a minute, me and my little polka dots. And I do have two Sonia G brushes. I like these because they have the fusion brushes. So let's just see how we're doing. I don't find this as thick. Somebody said this is going to be as thick as Pat McGrath. It's not. I think this is pretty medium. I'm not seeing it. I do have some on the eyelids. Lately my eyelids have felt a bit stained. Let's see what we think here. What do you guys think? Did that cover that up pretty good? Yeah, I mean, I do not have color corrector. The only thing on my face now is some skincare from this morning, no color corrector. So I'm just letting this, I had heard this was thicker than it's proving to be. So I worried about putting too much on. What do you think about the inner corners of my eye? I'm trying to use that sparingly, dark pits of despair. Okay. And around the nose, this is where I get a little red because I have allergies. Just kind of going in circular motions. I did let it sit a moment. And that area there, which is, okay, so that is a much darker shade than they recommend I go with, but I'm not thinking I did that in error. What do you guys think? That's kind of a blank canvas. Obviously no actual other cosmetics. Ooh! I have been worried about filming this because I had heard it was so thick that I thought I would really have trouble with it and that it would immediately start creasing and caking. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put anything on this. On this eye, I think I'll put, actually, this eye right here. I'm going to put a teeny bit of translucent powder off camera, and then when we do the wear test, we'll be able to see. You have seen the intro where it was freshly applied. Right now, you're going to see this after as many hours as I could give it today with powder only under this eye. That's how we're going to do it. We have to have some sort of scientific test. Stay right there. Okay, it's been 5 hours. I have reapplied the gloss over my lips, and that's it. Let's take a look here and see what we got. Let me remind you, we have powder only, and I use the Charlotte Tilbury white cased pressed powder. This eye only. Everything I used is down in the description bar, by the way, don't worry. So let's take a look here. Okay, wow, nice. So, haven't touched my face, made sure not to. Usually around the nose, I have to press in product like this, and I was expecting to have to do that. I do not. That is sitting beautifully. Okay, underneath the eyes. Yeah, the powder side. Okay, so this is the side that's powdered. It did stop a little bit of creasing. It benefited from the powder. If you see this eye with powder, this eye with none, you can tell me what you think. I hope I'm zooming in enough for you to see. Okay, a little bit better. Now, interestingly enough, inside of the eyes where the dark pits of despair are, I think it's holding up really nicely. Usually I definitely have a dark blue cast there, and I never get enough sleep, so that's typical. Let me get my hand out of the way there so you can see. Under the eye here, I still see a little bit of it. I could have used a little bit of color corrector, but of course I don't have that on for this video. I had heard that this was such a thick foundation, I was worried it would just cake up, and I don't like to use too many different products because then we don't know what the cause of it is. That's why I just put the powder on one eye. With a color corrector, I think this would be outstanding. It is really moving here. And here, it's actually blurring pores, especially in combination with what I think is a very good foundation. I don't know what your opinion on the Mario foundation is, but my skin is looking good. It's looking supple. Yeah, I mean, it's a little too dark under here. I'd like to add a little color corrector if I had my druthers, so to speak. Funny little expression there. But my skin is looking really good. My nose here is not red, nor is there any speckles on my nose. Is it going into pores or, you know, looking like it's going to create blackheads and that kind of thing? Really good here. I have some veins that show here, and look at that. Gone. Just looks smooth. Forehead is looking smooth. No issues with the shade choices that I chose. Perhaps it is because I was matched in store with the foundation, and that's the predominant thing that the eye goes to, is that foundation shade, so maybe that's why it can have some allowances. So I'm not necessarily sure that you have to be tied to that chart that refers you. I think that's my takeaway on that. I think my skin, yeah, this is a very, very good concealer, a very good kind of medium level concealer, really nice natural finish, a very good concealer. I have a drawer full of open concealers. We've had so many concealer releases, and we do have more coming up as we discussed, but I got to tell you, this is my favorite one in a long time. This is a extremely nice concealer. Again, I'm sorry, sometimes when I give a super good review, I actually feel like I'm disappointing people because they don't want to have to purchase it. I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. I don't have any relationship with Makeup by Mario at all. And this is a beautiful, this is a really, really nice concealer. It feels really good after 5 hours. It feels like I just put it on. I'm impressed. All right, let me know what you think. Sorry, I'm taking a minute in reverie. Let me know what you guys think. You know, that's what makes us a community. Perhaps you disagree. Have you tried it? What shades did you get? Did you stick to that chart there? And what did you think? Maybe they would have been better shades for me. Who knows? But let me know what you guys think. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I sure hope that you did. Hey, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you go and subscribe to this channel. I know that YouTube recommends creators that you've seen videos by already. They just recommend them again. But if you actually click subscribe, it really does help my growth of my channel, and I appreciate it so, so much. And while you're at it, come by and say a big hello on Instagram, TikTok, and now on Threads. You can become a bigger member of this YouTube community by shopping from those links below. The retailers give a little bit back to put back into product for me. I appreciate that. Or you can give super thanks even, or join and become a member of this channel. We have so much fun on our weekly members only lives. But any way that you choose to spend time here, please know that I'm extraordinarily appreciative and thrilled to see you. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Bye-bye.